Okay, so if you were absent today, you're going to have to do your calculations based on this data that I'm going to go over here. So this is what you're missing if you were absent today. Is you're missing the day that we're going over the calculations, and because this is part of your grade, you still have to submit this to me. Okay, otherwise there's no way for me to give you a complete grade for building the roller coaster because this is part of the grade. All right, so if you don't submit this part, you're just going to be missing this part of the grade until you submit it. Okay, so here's a sample roller coaster. The height of the roller coaster is 2.1 meters. Here I have my marble. The mass of the marble is 27.8 grams. And then I have the cup over here. Okay, so for this scenario, we're going to assume this marble, when it reaches the cup, it is going to move the cup a distance of 1.1 meter. Okay, so we can use all of this information in order to fill out our calculations. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to set that up, and then you can just do it on a piece of paper and submit it to me either by a picture onto Schoology, or you can just give it to me in class. Okay, so let's go over the calculations here. So remember, the first thing we have to do is calculate the potential energy of our roller coaster. Okay, so we have to calculate the potential energy. I'm going to do that by multiplying the mass of the marble, the gravity. So that would be right here. It's our acceleration due to gravity, and then the height of the roller coaster. Okay, so remember, you'll have to use, I'll go back to the data page, but you'll just plug in, right, this is the mass of the marble, this is 9.8, and then the height. One thing that you have to look at with mass is that mass is measured in kilograms. The number that I gave you, the 27.8, is grams. And so in order to convert that, in order to get that number to kilograms, you're going to have to divide it by 1,000. So you would take the 27.8, divide by 1,000, and that will give you your kilograms. Okay? This number that you get in kilograms is what you'll plug into your equation here. All right, so you should get some kind of number here. Okay, last, you're going to calculate the work that was done by the marble. Okay, so we have to calculate the force the marble had on the cup, as well as the distance that the cup moved. Okay, so this is the formula you're going to use for force. So again, it's the mass of the marble. You're going to use your kilogram value that you calculated. You're going to use the acceleration, which, since we're going down, we're going to use the acceleration of gravity, so 9.8 meters per second, because that's how fast it's accelerating, right? And then your distance is the distance that the cup moved at the end. Okay, so I told you it was like 1.1 meters. So you'll take your mass of the marble, your acceleration due to gravity, so that's that 9.8, and then you're going to multiply that by the distance that the cup traveled. Okay, and I've already got your distance in meters, so you're good to go. All right. Once you plug in that, you should get some type of answer. Okay. So you should have an answer for work, and you should have an answer for your potential energy that you started with. Okay. And what you're going to notice is these numbers are not the same. They're different. So you're going to have to answer these questions based kind of on that information. Okay. So you can answer how, which features was hardest to build, what's easiest to build. The calculations is what we just went through. That was number 2. Number 3 is, where's there friction in the coaster? Okay, so when you were thinking about how you built your roller coaster, right, what is friction doing? Friction is probably, that's that force that opposes our motion. So how is that evident in your roller coaster? Where were some areas that you might want more friction? So if you think about what the purpose of friction is, to slow it down, right? Where are some areas in your roller coaster that you had to try to slow down your marble versus, where you wanted it to be moving fast, okay? And then number 4, you had that kind of initial design. Even when you were building it, you've probably changed multiple things. So what are some changes that you had to make as you went through your design, right? You probably didn't look like your original design. What are some changes that you had to make, and why did you make those changes? Okay, is your final design better than your original? So if your roller coaster never worked, right? You probably can't say that the final is better than the original because your final did not work either. So maybe you could, even come up with some reasons why it did not work. All right. So you'll answer these questions, these 4 questions. You will complete these calculations. Okay, so if you need to go back to the beginning and look at the sample roller coaster again to get your values to plug in here, do that. Once you are done, the last part of your grade is you have to complete the exit form. Okay, so that link is posted on Schoology. It's different for each block, so you'll get your form off of your Schoology classroom, and then you'll need to just fill that out based on those questions that are there. That's the last part of your grade for this assignment. So again, if you don't complete these questions and calculations and you don't complete the Google form, you're going to be missing a good chunk of the grade for this assignment. Okay, so make sure you get all of that done. Feel free to ask me questions if you have any.